For the second time in as many months, Ralf Rangnick has been called a liar by one of his members of staff, one of his players, one of the almost key components now in Man United's attack moving forward, with Anthony Martial leaving and, of course, Mason Greenwood being rightfully suspended. Jesse Lingard took to social media yesterday to suggest that Ralph's claims that the player had asked for time away to clear his head after his fouled transfer away in January was false, and he was 100% ready to play and 100% professional. This isn't the first time, as mentioned, that Ralf Rangnick has been accused by a player of lying to the media, lying to the fans about their availability or their lack of want to play. But I want to ask you for your views, and I want your opinions on this. Is this a case of player power ensuing at Manchester United, or is Ralf Rangnick lying? And if so, why? What is the mileage in this for Ralf Rangnick to make up such a claim? Do me a big favor right now and smash that like button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Leave your comments below. It's another episode of the Done Deal Show. Let's do this. Welcome back to the show this morning. Liegate 2.0 continues, and it's an embarrassing morning for Manchester United. Let's just get that out there right now. Highly, highly, highly embarrassing. To the nth degree. There is absolutely no getting away from this whatsoever. It's embarrassing as a Man United fan to look at this, for this to be out in the open, is just atrocious. Everyone's going to have a camp. Ralph's the liar. Martial was the liar. Now Lingard's the liar. It's player power. The manager can't manage. It's all toxic. What it shows me is that the club is still, in large parts, in disarray. There's inconsistencies with news coming out about the transfer window. There's inconsistencies with who wants to stay and who wants to. Players don't even know if they want to be here next year or not, because we don't know who our manager is going to be. Supposedly, because we don't know who we're picking yet as manager, we're not really planning for our transfers. Imagine being in February and you're not planning for your summer transfers. You should be working on them year round. This club is standing still again because of no structure, no culture, no strategy, no professionalism. But this latest example is just testament to how far Manchester United have fallen. And I do want your views and I do want your opinions as we are live this morning on the Done Deal Show. But I'm just embarrassed as a Manchester United fan. When you look at what's being said, when you go through it, it's absolutely calamitous. But the question that I have for you this morning, and I want to take your calls, is do you think Ralf Rangnick is lying? We've seen the biggest and most nameless name in the social media fan base in Mark Goldbridge openly reply to Jesse Lingard directly and said, so you're telling us that Ralf Rangnick has lied again? So one of the biggest, most powerful, most influential names believes Ralf Rangnick is lying, believes that Ralf Rangnick has made these things up, or very much that's how his tweet reads. There are others, a lot of people that think, no, they think actually Ralf is just outing these players, or maybe not even trying to out them, just simply stating, well, you asked for some time to clear your head. I didn't think it was going to be this big deal to tell that to the fans. Maybe the Man United players feel embarrassed by their behavior. And Gary Neville took to social media and tweeted something that made me laugh. And he tweeted this: Sue wanted a day off. Alan took a holiday. John was ill. Barry handed his notice in. Clive said he might be there. And Barbara will be, sorry, I can't see the fight, on the minutes. And it's true. It's like an embarrassing office party, like office situation. You've also had Cavani request time off. Now, look, there might be a family reason. There could be an issue. We're not privy to that. But we've got a big FA Cup game tonight. And for one reason or another, there are issues with these players. It's absolutely Shocking. And as we can see here, I'll put up on this on the screen, you'll see what it is that Lingard, it has come out and said, and what he has stated. There is his tweet. The club advised me to have time off due to personal reasons, but my headspace is clear and I'll always be professional when called upon and give 100%. It's just, I don't even know what side of the fence I sit on right here. The only thing that I can think of is this. Ralf Rangnick wants to stay at Man United. Ralf Rangnick wants a permanent role at the football club. I don't understand what he gains at all through lying. I can't see the angle. I can't see the method to the madness. Unless somebody can explain it to me, I don't understand it. So for people to say he's lying, fine, you can have that stance. What I need from you is a logical explanation as to why. How is that going to help him achieve his end result of being employed permanently? Because if he's lying, the squad will know he's lying. The board are never going to employ him. It seems reductive to do that. Now, when it comes to the players, so when I say I'm on the fence, I'm definitely leaning more toward Ralph's side. The two things he said about Martial and Lingard, for me, are not overtly damning. It's just, the player has kind of said he's not in the right headspace to play. We've heard that from multiple managers at multiple clubs at multiple times. And actually, it's quite normal and organic for the situation of trying to leave a club for one reason or another. To come out and deny it, it's almost like, I'm going to look bad here. I'm going to get the stick. So I'm going to throw a grenade in the works. And for me, I do believe there's an element of player power here. I do believe there's an element of, can we come out on top? And you've seen, and look, the reason I quote Mark Goldbridge is because he's got the biggest Manchester United platform in the world. He's one of the most listened to. And it doesn't matter whether you personally respect him or not. That's your choice. But he's the most listened to Manchester United fan in the world. And he is put out there, and his claim is, Ralf lied. He's openly stated that, or very much implied it. So how many more of you watching think that he is lying and he's throwing players under the bus, not just for what they've done, but with lies? Like, I need to know where you're coming from with this, because all it shows me is more chaos at Manchester United. That's the biggest standout for me. More chaos at Manchester United again and again and again and again. And we can't seem to get away from this. It's all the time. And if it is player power, Ball need to stand by a Ralf. Myrtle and Fletcher need to stand by a Ralf. You need to create power in that role as Manchester United manager. And of course, to quote Spider-Man, with great power becomes a great responsibility. You need to trust that manager isn't lying, isn't making things up. And we always talk about not airing dirty linen in public. I don't even look at what he said about Lingard as being dirty linen. It wasn't even... It doesn't even make sense to me. Ralf has doubled down as well, by the way. Ralf has refused to change his stance afterwards and said that all the things that needed to be said, I said after the press conference. I had a conversation with him on Sunday, a personal conversation with him about what and how I saw the whole situation, and the matter is now resolved. So he hasn't, the one thing I'd say about Ralf, he hasn't backed down on either situation. He's just sort of said, maybe they've misunderstood, but this is what's said. I'm not changing my mind. I'm not changing my stance. But it's very, very telling to me. Ralf has come out and said that Jesse asked if he could have a couple of days off to clear his mind. He will be back in training on Monday and part of the whole squad. I don't see that's threat. As a Man United fan, I kind of get that. He had his mind set on leaving. And the Mason Greenwood situation essentially is what kept him here. So it makes sense. I don't get why Lingard has done what he's done. I don't understand it. It isn't right. What Rangnick said is completely fine. He hasn't outed something that nobody would be shocked about. Somebody would be shocked about for me. But it for me is just, it just shows the toxicity that is so deeply ingrained within Manchester United Football Club. And I think it's going to be here. I think it's going to be here for a while still. I think it's going to take a good couple of years to really take this away, get this out of the football club. I just do. I've shared the link in the live comment section, and I've just posted the link in the description of this video if you're watching on YouTube. So if you want to call in, refresh your stream, or see it in the live comments and phone in now. I want to get some views and takes. It's been a few days since we've done phone calls. Of course, because I've been away having the old surgery. So I'm back now. I want to take your calls. I want to know what you think and you feel about this. If you're watching over on Twitter, first of all, thank you. Please make sure you're retweeting this stream across your followers. I'd like to get some more views and some more opinions on that, of course. Thanks so far to everyone that's done that. And most people that I did tweet earlier as well. And I kind of asked a few people what they thought was going on. Do they think like Ralf is lying? And most people think, it's players being exposed here. So most Man United fans that responded to me says he's got no reason to lie. And that's my point. What I haven't seen yet, and I've got a comment here from London Gunner who says, Terry, stop sticking up for that fraud of a manager. Fine. Give me one. I need the logic explained to me. What logic is there in Ralf lying? How does this help Ralf's career as a manager or as a director of football if he's making up lies about players? Explain logically why he's doing it. Not because he's out of his depth and drowning and he's panicking. That's not logical. There is not a single ounce or noise or bit of body language or tone of voice that suggests he's panicking right now. So what's the logic of barring banter? What is the logic in terms of him lying? What is the logic? Come on now. Let us know. Get involved. Call in. Have your say. I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. I need to know what you think, and I need to know what you feel. Morning, Mama Flossie. Hope you are well. Hope you're good. I'm going to go to your live comments now until people start phoning in to have their say. Daily United show. It's funny, right? Whatever team I cover, we always have a section of the terrace community that moans. So I did yesterday a video about United, and I did one in the afternoon that's at Liverpool-Tottenham. On the Liverpool-Tottenham one, stick to Man United. In the Man United one, why don't you talk more about other teams? I actually had someone yesterday say to me, why do we cover more than one club on the terrace? I'm like, literally, we are the original top 6 YouTube channel. Nobody was covering. In terms of games, transfers, news, we're the first guys to do it. That's why we don't talk about just Man United. But whatever you do, what is it? And I learned this recently. I knew this, but I only really learned it and taught myself this recently. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one. So I'm doing what I enjoy. I'm doing what the majority of my viewers enjoy, and that's it. But what I do need from you this morning is that big fat like button being smashed. Follow us if you're on. By the way, if you are watching on YouTube right now, we've got the link for tonight's watch along already set up, pinned in the live comment section. So go and get following us over on Twitch. It's going to be a real good show tonight. We've got Lies in the house, got Moses, we've got Ishmael, we've got Banks. It's going to be a big group of us in the studio. It's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure you're tuning in. Strip Bear, thank you for that super chat. Thank you very, very much indeed. David, Spurs, we literally did a video dedicated to Spurs yesterday, and we spent, you must, again, if you don't watch the Top 6 show, we spent a good 20 minutes of the hour and 25 minutes speaking about Spurs. So you just got to watch the content, my bro. Watch the content and enjoy it, because we definitely speak about more than one team. How does your head feel, Terry? Did the process hurt? I've got some content coming out about it later, and I'm going to go into a bit more detail about the transplant, why I've had it, and really if anybody wants to speak about it. I've had over 250 direct messages. I've replied to maybe 30, 40 so far, with people asking questions and inquiring, and can they do it? And did it hurt? What, how do I feel about it? And I'm going to go into that in more detail a little bit later. Because I feel no embarrassment, I feel no shame, and nor should anybody that's thinking about doing it. And I will go into why a little bit later on today, but I'll save it for that, as opposed to going off on a big tangent. Nazia here, big Liverpool fan, says, Terry, the guy that's going upstairs, that guy you lot called the godfather of football, is showing he can't manage a team, control the players. You still happy with him going upstairs? I am, and I'll tell you as to why. Because I see no logical reason for him to lie. I don't believe he's lying. I believe that when you've got a club that is rotten to the core, because player power, a lack of structure, a lack of direction, a lack of winning mentality from the middle of the club, which is the owners and the board out, has enabled rot. And what we do at Manchester United is if you went into your roof today, into your roof joists, and you found some rot, there's some rot or some infestation in your wood, and it's going to get to a point where the roof is going to collapse. What you have to do, now I'm not a builder, but what you have to do essentially, you have to cut out the rot, remove the parasites or what are those things called that eat through wood, woodworm, whatever they are. You've got to have them removed before you put new wood in. So you would you treat the rot, cut the rot out, get rid of the infestation, and then you add and place new wood, new joists to repair it, to make it strong. What Man United do is they add the new fresh wood on top of the rot next to the woodworm. So all that happens over a course of time is the infestation and the rot spreads to the new timber, and you're back to square one again. And the problem is, what happens in that cycle is eventually you get to a stage where the rot sets in and the damage sets in quicker because it's growing each time. It's more powerful each time. And because it started off small and now it's huge, it's everywhere. The room stinks. And that's Manchester United. They need, in my opinion, and the more I'm thinking about this and reading the comments, the more I'm siding towards the manager here when we're live. And it's why I find this process very cathartic. This is very much, in my opinion, a player power issue. And Ralf needs to stamp it out. And he's called the godfather of football, not because of being a great manager, but for how he runs clubs from upstairs. And part of it is allowing managers to have the control they need, players not being able to run the show. So it's very important this works. It really is. Ralf is just honest, and these players don't like it, because if it was under Ollie, he would have made an excuse for him and tried to protect him. Do you know what's interesting about that take? Really, really interested about that take, and I make you right in a large percentage of ways. I would be annoyed at Ralf if he was outing something personal. Say Lingard was off because he was having another baby, and Ralf came out and said, "Yeah, Lingard's not available. Why? He had a baby, and he wants an extra 2 days off. I don't even know why he can't play. I'm now short. Good, congratulations to him, but I'm just not happy." If he said something to the effect of that, I understand Lingard responding, but he didn't. Just go back and just research it. It takes you about half an hour. The amount of times managers say things like, Joe Bloggs was disappointed not to leave. He's going to take a few days to clear his head, then he'll be back. No one goes mental about it. We'd all understand it. We'd all understand it. And yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. You simply don't have public rifts with your players. Truths or lies don't matter, since it will not. There will be a no-win situation. Top players would be concerned working for such a manager. So, Jason, do you think that's like a truth or lies thing? It's not a public rift. See, I think from Ralph's point, I get your point. If it was an argument, you absolutely keep it quiet. But listen to what Ralf has said. Just actually go and listen to it. He just said it was a nice conversation. We spoke. He wanted a few days to clear his head. We said yes. There's no problems. It's all resolved. It's fine. It isn't a rift. Lingard's made it a rift by saying, Rangnick, you're lying. But it wasn't a rift. This situation is normal, in my opinion, Jay. So I really do think it's a normal situation. I don't think there's anything like crazy about it. Jay here says, Terry, do you really believe Poch Ten Hag would fix United? No. No one manager fixes United. This is a fallacy. So people often say, but look, Liverpool really improved when Klopp came in, because your board were willing to listen to him. It doesn't matter whether Ten Hag or Poch are here. It doesn't matter if Ralph's here. It doesn't matter who we've got. If the board don't listen to the football men, run the football club the footballing way, let football people run the football element for a sustained period of time, no one's fixing it. It can't happen. It's impossible. I put this out there months ago. I've had £1,000 for someone that could show me a poorly run football club that wins consistently. This in a proper league, I'm talking. Don't find me some club in the arse end of nowhere in Romania, like that we don't know about. I'm talking like top league. And Barcelona are a great case in point. Look how much they were winning when they're being run well, and look where they've ended up because they've been run poorly. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. There ain't examples of it, but thank you. I have never seen Man United in such a shambles. I think Ralf is not lying. Problem is, incompetent owners. Please do an after show of the AFCON final. Is what Dortmund said. We'll try our best. It depends. Do you know what? I didn't even look when it is. I need to look when it is. If it clashes with what, for instance, we have some sponsors that sponsor shows. I can't drop a sponsored show for something else. Why people ask me over the course of like the last few weeks why we haven't covered any of the AFCON. It's simply because of things that we're contracted to cover with some of our partners, and it's just meant there's been no bandwidth. So it's been disappointing, but I hear you. Disappointing for me as well. Okay, we've already had that one there from Jason. So thank you very much indeed, my friend. Right, we're going to go to your phone calls now. I want to hear from some more of you. Harrison Lang says, Terry, Lingard has been posting pictures of himself in a West Ham kit and his brother posting things about United being a prison. Why on earth would anybody have any reason to believe anything Lingard says? And you know, I wasn't even aware of that stuff because I don't really follow a lot of players on social media. I just tend not to, because I'm just not that interested in what they're getting up to. But yeah, I didn't know that. That's the case. And still, Man United fans, I think some Man United fans just like to back whatever they know is going to be the most controversial point. Because there will be like a group of Man United fans who they'll be on the player side every single time. And obviously it's controversial. And I just think some people enjoy the madness of it, really. I see a few people tweeting today and it's like, I knew this manager was sus. I'm like, no, you didn't. No, I shouldn't laugh. That actually hurts my head. I was like, no, you didn't. But there we go. Right, first caller on the show today. We're going to go to Dark Side user Edward, who's with us now. What are you saying, Edward? You there, Edward? Okay, Edward's not there. So instead, we're going to go to Brush. Brush is here. What are you saying?
What are you saying, Tel? Are you good?
I'm very well, my friend. What's your take on this situation? Do you think Ralph's lying? Do you think he's wrong to speak about this stuff publicly? Where's your head at, my friend?
I mean, I'm with you, mate. I'm on the side of Ralph. From the side of the player, what I can say is, with the day and age we live in now, right, with the social medias and everything, I think a lot of the times the players feel like they need to put things out so that they don't get backlash. A bit like in the summer at the Euros. You remember when, there was a lot of talk of why Grealish didn't take a penalty, and then he came out and said, well, I did put my name forward. I just wasn't selected, sort of thing. So I think a lot of players try to cover themselves. It makes us look, like an absolute shambles, because there needs to be an authoritarian figure who says what it is and no one else to, like, how it was in the Fergie days. But that's not where we're at, unfortunately, right now.
Mate, listen, I completely hear you. I look at it and always have done from the point of view of this. That super chat from Jason said earlier, which I'll put back up on the screen. He's bang on. You shouldn't share public riffs. But the way I listened, I'm very careful now when I hear a manager say something. I go and listen to it. Body language, tone of voice. Just listen to Ralf talk. He didn't say, me and Lingard, we had an absolute Barney. We had a fight. Chairs were thrown. You know what I mean? Hands were slammed on tables. We were arguing, fighting. He tried to hit me. I pushed him. I said, your mum. He said, your dad. But now it wasn't a fight. It was simply, we had a conversation that he was probably told at some point on Monday, you have to stay because of the Mason Greenwood situation. He's, of course, disappointed because he probably had his, it's like in life. Sometimes your heart's set on something, you think it's happening, and then it fell away. Most players in that circumstance ask for a little bit of time out, spend it with their family, clear their head, come back fresh the following Monday, raring to go. I don't think any Man United fan had an issue with that. But now Lingard's thrown this out there, this big situation has been created. And the fact that two players that want to leave have done this in the space of a couple of months is, for me, just says more than Ralf being a liar. That these players, as you say, it's the PR around trying to make themselves look good. Jack Grealish didn't need to come out and say what it is that he said because, again, it's just. Do you get where I'm coming? It wasn't like if Southgate came out and
there's power in silence, bro, and it's something that's lost on these kids these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, and like you say as well, maybe it's the fact also that Ralf is interim. Maybe that plays a part. Maybe they feel that they don't need to pay attention.
Mate, you could be absolutely right about that. You really could be right about that. There is something at play here, which I'm not. I don't quite understand if you get where I'm coming from. I don't quite
Yeah.
know where it's coming from, but it's
Yeah,
me,
I think for me personally, mate, I think it's the lack of direction and not having anything concrete in place. Like no one knows if they're coming or going.
of
I
course,
mean,
and that goes back to the running of the club, doesn't it? That's
yeah, exactly. So
it's we
structurally, we're all wrong. The changes that we need to see need to come from the top down. But this has been an issue at ours for a long, long time. If we really want to be honest about it, the issues were there even when Fergie was there. He just did a very stellar job of papering over cracks.
Mate, he absolutely did, and that's really lost on a lot of people how much Fergie did paper over cracks and kept this club and this team's heads above water. Of course, you already had a great squad that primarily was built before the Glazers and in the early stages of the Glazers when he still had because it took, even though they owned the club, people don't realize that it still took Fergie a fair amount of time to be able to. They took the time to take certain powers away from Fergie and David Gill and everything else. But no, you're right. I think it does come down to player power. I think these players have become too used to being able to say exactly what they want when they
and the
want.
thing with Ollie,
get away with it.
And the thing with Ollie, he was a arm around your shoulder kind of man. So it was sort of like Kevin Keegan, like trying to be a friend, and that's not really what you need at this level.
Mate, I agree. I completely agree. Do you know what's funny? A lot of people blame Ollie for this and go, it's Ollie's fault. It's here. And again, I find that too. Ollie's approach was, I'm going to be nice. I think Ollie's approach was, I'm going to be the nice guy and see if that works. It hasn't. Jose went the other way of went too far. He outed things that should never be spoken about publicly. Martial going to say,
he just threw everyone under the bus. It was mad.
You've seen those two extremes. And that's why when I look at Ralf, I'm seeing someone in the middle. It's absolutely right to tell the fans the truth that a player needs a few days to clear his head. A player's going to be off this week because his mother's unwell, and we as a club think he should be with his family. Those things are not out in private information. That stuff is fair and sensible, and every fan understands it. The maddest thing is, when Ralf said what he said, I saw people comment on it. No one was having a go at Lingard. Nobody was saying what. Everybody just said fair play. Lingard then tweets, and now the chaos ensues. And
the thing is, from a human being's perspective, we totally understand where he was coming from. He just didn't need to come out and say this, though. Because honestly, I think a lot of us will agree he probably should have gone in the summer. I think it made sense for both parties, because he had a fantastic spell at West Ham. He was 28 years old at the time. So, last couple of years to really go and make a name for yourself and get first team action. And we would have got a good 20 million at least for him. And this is another thing that, speaks to our sheer incompetence. We don't sell players, bro. We don't balance the books. Never. We price people out of moves. They're on big wages and they just sit there and rot and run down their contracts. And that needs to change.
Mate, you're absolutely spot on. I can't say how you couldn't say it any better myself. Absolutely spot on with what you're saying there, my friend. Brush, we'll speak to you again soon. Take care, and we'll speak again. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Bye.
Cheers, mate. Take care. I mean, we're about to get Pav on the show, but Pav seems to have disappeared. We're going to get the contextual one on the show next. The main stand here says, Terry, with Lingard's comment now, is there any reason he shouldn't be in the matchday team squad? Well, we'll see. If he's made himself available ahead of time. Well, if you actually read his tweet, though, if you actually read Lingard's tweet, it's quite clever. It's actually very clever. What Lingard is essentially saying is, let's go back and read this and put it up on the screen, right? If you put it up on the screen, it makes a little bit more sense. We just go and find the tweet again now. So he won't be in the squad, but it's the way he's kind of worded it, which I find very key, right? So it says, the club advised me to have time off for personal reasons. So you see the semantics at play here. The club advised me to have time off due to personal reasons, but my headspace is clear and I'll always be professional when called upon. So this is what could also be going on in this situation. Rangnick says, do you want some time off to clear your head? Yeah, that'd be nice. Semantics will say, court of law, I never said my headspace was messed up. You told me to go away and clear my head. And I just said fine to the time off. But I never said I had. Do you get where I'm coming from? It's like this almost becomes a little bit like, well, I didn't quite say all the things you said. But some things you don't need to say. This happened famously between Fergie and Rio. And actually, Fergie made the mistake on this. Sorry, Fergie and Rooney, where he thought Rooney put in a transfer request the second time around, but he didn't. It was just a conversation. This isn't one of those things for me. And even if it is, handle it internally. You haven't got to tweet about it. Have a conversation internally and resolve the matter. But, you know, as I said before, some people definitely think he's lying. Mr. Goldbridge here with, so Rangnick isn't telling the truth again. Club's a joke. Like, so there are Man United. And look, 7,300 likes. A lot of people agree with Mark Goldbridge on this as well, which is why we're talking about it this morning, because I want to get, just like Mark, I want to get Man United fan opinions. I want to know what you're all thinking and feeling. The contextual ones on the show now. What are you saying, buddy?
Yeah. First things first, Lingard has actually played his best football under more strict managers like LVG and Jose. That's an undeniable fact. Secondly, I remember LVG dropping De Gea rather publicly when the whole Real Madrid interest was obviously affecting him mentally. I think he said, "Oh yeah, he was ready to play." But sometimes you need someone who's not you to look at the situation and to sometimes save you from yourself. Because, personal example, right? End of last year, I had COVID, and then I recovered. Then I got ill again after recovering, and then I was doing a lot of job interviews. And for the first time ever, I listened to my body and said, "No, you need to slow down because you're burning out." Beforehand, a few years prior, I'd have had a similar situation, but I didn't listen. So it's a case of sometimes the people external to you, particularly people who are experts in this, and in Germany, I think they're all about sports psychology. You just need to sometimes just let it go. And I think Ralf needs to put his foot down on this situation. But this also gets me back to why I think, to your point, that no manager is a silver bullet. But I think we really messed up on not getting Conte. We really messed up on that.
And listen, no, I hear you on that. And as you said, I might be talking to a member of staff that I can see needs to go and clear their head. So I say, go to clear your head. You may not think you need to at times. But they could be right. A few people actually pointing out to me that Mark Goldbridge, some people are linking me into another tweet from Mark Goldbridge, actually, which I am going to share because I didn't see, again, I don't see I don't see a tweet from someone, then go and check all their other tweets to make sure everything's there. Mark has also said this, that I don't think there's a communication issue at United. I think it's an issue. The issue is Rangnick is used to saying it how it is, and the club are used to Ollie covering things up. So yeah, I mean, maybe some people saying Goldbridge was being a little bit sarcastic, and if Goldbridge was being sarcastic, then fair. I didn't read it as sarcasm. I've always said about Twitter needs to have a font thing where you can change your font.
Yes,
because that what Mark Goldbridge, how I read his tweet is that he thinks that Rangnick's lying, but fair play if Mark wasn't. But my thing with this is, though, it's not a dig at Goldbridge. As I've said all along, if somebody thinks Rangnick's lying, I just want to understand. So a lot of people in our comments have said that he's lying, and my view is like, I want to know why people think he's lying, because I don't care that you think he is. I need to know why you think he is, and
because he's an outsider. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, but what I mean is, I don't get the mileage. If he's lying, why? What is he going to gain? Do you get where I'm coming from? There's nothing...
I don't think he's lying, but I think that this goes back to the issue the club has had since before Fergie retired. And you mentioned earlier that Fergie paved over a lot of the cracks. I think he's hugely culpable for what's happening right now and what's happened ever since he retired. For what it's worth, I wanted Ferguson gone. Yes, I'm saying this after the 2011 Champions League final, because I saw what was coming. That was a microcosm of what was to come. People forget how bad the 2011-12 season really was. Like, just because we got to the last minute of the season in the title race, we were out in the Champions League group stage in a much easier group than we've ever had. We were out in the League Cup. Crystal Palace, who were in the Championship at the time, knocked us out at Old Trafford. Europa League, was it Bilbao? Bielsa's Bilbao, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they knocked us out of that. And a very poor Liverpool team knocked us out of the FA Cup in the fourth round. When you take that into context, and if you look at who won the Europa League that year, it was Simeone with Atletico Madrid, and he'd only joined midway through that season, which is also weird because what else happened that season, and gets me back to why do you ever watch Webby and O'Neill's show?
Yes, I do.
Do you see the one with Scholes that Scholes was on recently?
No, I remind us.
Well, basically he said
we messed up not going for Conte, but we're Man United. We should just go and poach him. Do you think that's still possible? I do.
Maybe. I don't know. When it comes to Man United, I don't trust us to do anything right, if I'm being honest. But my buddy, listen, great call. Thank you very, very much for coming on. Really good points being raised today, mate. And we'll speak to you again soon. Top man, indeed. Thank you. Pav's on the show with us next. What are you saying, Pav?
I hope you're all right, man. I hope the transport's going good for you. Lingard. I probably couldn't care less what Lingard had said, because this whole transfer saga, it's probably down to him. You should have been out of the club last season. You chose to stay because you believed that you were going to be part of this squad when you clearly wasn't. You wasn't part of the squad the season before. Now, you should have gone in the summer, and now you're throwing your toys out the pram because you couldn't get a move in January. You want to run down your contract, right? So you can get your nice little signing on fee for your next club. Now, the club doesn't need to send you out on loan, even though they've been offered 5-6 million. End of the day, I said, like myself, and they want this guy going to Newcastle and helping them to stay up anyway. But the comments that come from Ralf, it doesn't matter if he's lying or not. He's an employee for them pagans on the board. He will say whatever they say, because end of the day, say for instance, you've got an employee yourself. If you've asked them to brief, I don't know, the press with certain things, you're going to do it. You're not going to openly speak, even though I do like managers to openly speak their thoughts and not just read off of whatever they've been told pre-hand. But he's going to obviously say what they've told him to say. That's the end of it. He's here for 6 months as an interim manager and supposedly going to be an advisor. But this whole Lingard thing, he should have been gone the season before. You chose to stay, and that's on you. I don't know why you were here. I don't know if it was because of the whole Ronaldo hype, but
yeah,
I couldn't care less how he's feeling about it.
Look, the crazy thing with this is as well, this is where I feel a bit sorry for Ralf. Ralf's come in mid-season. You've got players like Lingard as a great example who shouldn't have been here. We should have sold him in the summer. We had no plans to... Lingard and Donny, these players here, Ollie had no plans to play. He lied about that. He had no plans to play them. They were nowhere near his first team thoughts. Those players and becoming disgruntled also, in my opinion, played a part in Ollie's downfall and the bad run of form. Ralf then comes in and he's managing 2 or 3 previous managers' mistakes and problems, a club with no structure. We still have no plan and idea who our manager is going to be. Every other day, it's a different story from the mainstream media. 1 minute, we're prioritizing Declan Rice. The next minute, there's Ralf saying we've had no transfer conversations whatsoever because we don't know who the new manager is going to be. Which one of them is it? The place is a mess. It's an absolute mess. And the players coming out and doing what Lingard are doing. If you respected Man United, you'd say nothing. If you were fully respectful, you would say nothing. Your brother wouldn't be posting them pictures, which someone's just sent me links to them, and it's like screenshots of it. Why are you doing that? You're doing it for me.
He's throwing his toys at his parameter.
He is, and it's trying to force a move out of the football club, and I don't like it. And then you get comments like this. This is what Damon said here on Twitter to a post this morning. He says he is in Ralf is lying because he's not getting the job full time, so he wants to make things very difficult for the club. He's vengeful. Players have been there from the beginning and won things for the club. Their loyalty cannot be questioned. There are some people that actually believe that Ralf Rangnick is being spiteful here instead of trying to help fix Manchester United. I mean, it's absolutely staggering that anybody would think that, in my opinion.
That's the thing. Certain fans would do anything to just stir the pot. You don't understand. He's come here midway through with all the problems we've had and the problems we're facing now, to having to bring in his own staff, to look for staff on his own and get them out of their contracts and their jobs that they're at, and try trim down the squad and try keep everyone happy. Are you people stupid? You're expecting this man to do about 500 different things. And you want him to please you lot because things aren't going your way, and then you accuse him of lying, cheating players out of game time, cheating them out of transfers. What's wrong with you people? Wait until the season's ended wait and see what this board's going to do, wait and see what players leave, and then make your judgment of what's happening, because you can't judge anything with what's happening this season with all the stuff we're facing and already have faced. The players that have gone, we'll see if any of them come back. We'll see what manager comes in. Till then, just keep your mouth quiet and stop stirring the pot. It's either like some of these big accounts, like some of the other YouTubers, a lot of them are just talking crap as on. It's like, I don't know if it's just to like so they can make a video out of it or just talk, but there's a lot of shit stirring going on. Like, I couldn't care less if a player wanted to go. End of the day, no one's bigger than the club. It don't matter who it is. Like, I wanted Martial gone just for the fact that all this Martial FC bullshit you hear every week, like the Pogba FC stuff, like the good players, but you're supporting players over the club, and we already know what the board's like. We know what our ownership is like, but you spend more time wanting a manager out, wanting players out, shit stirring, causing problems between yourselves, rather than trying to get them twats out of the club.
The crazy thing about it is, I see a lot of the people I see sporadically tweet about bad ownership, how bad they've been run. Most of the agendas they pick up as fans damage creating a better mentality and ethos at the football club. It all comes down to, it's not what's being done, it's who's doing it. When Ralf came in 7-8 weeks ago now, it was, this guy is X, we should listen to him. All I have seen consistently over the last 8 weeks is every starting lineup still moaned about. Every decision of what players he prefers or doesn't prefer, scrutinized. He's still picking McTominay. That means he can't know ball. He's lying about Lingard. He lied about my Martial. He must be this. He must be that. It's almost, when he was appointed, literally the screenshots are out there for people to go check. People are out there like, this guy's the man. We've got to back him. You're now seeing, we're now at a crossroads for the club to back Rangnick, and people are questioning. And do you know what it comes down to? If it was Rashford that did what Lingard did, if it was Maguire that did what Lingard did, Luke Shaw that did it, McTominay that did it, the players that the mob want out, they'd be 100% behind Ralf Rangnick, because it's players they like for one reason or another. No, it's got to be Ralf the liar. This honestly, I blame the fathers and the mothers here who brought their kids up to stan a player over a football club. It's where a lot of this stems from. It's the FIFA generation. I'm backing Martial, or I'm backing Rashford, or I'm backing Bruno above and beyond the club itself. And that's why we're in a mess. Liverpool Football Club, back Liverpool Football Club. Man City, back Manchester City. Man United is an absolute joke. And until fans get behind the notion, and that's debate, you've listened to hundreds of my streams, the way we're run as a football club is the most important thing for us to fix. We've got someone in who we will move upstairs consultatively. We should be screaming every week, why have you not given him a full-time job yet? This guy, if they listen to him for 2 years, fixes Manchester United to a point where we can become competitive again. If Ralf goes, we are, and the Glazers remain in charge of footballing decisions, we are absolutely...
That's the thing. If Ralf goes, you've got someone in there who's already claimed that he has no football knowledge already. So you're wanting Ralf gone out of his position because he's a so-called liar and a cheat, but then you're going to leave the club run by Arnold, who's publicly come out and said he doesn't want nothing to do with the football side.
It's astronomical. It's crazy thinking, but there we go. Pav, great call, my friend, and we'll chat to you later on today. Take care, mate. All the best, bro. Thank you. There's some more super chats here. Derek says these players' power are all down to the Glazers. They are all coming from their favorite players, in my opinion, is what man like Derek's got to say. Baz1 says Lingard has a right to be upset, but they pay you, so you have to do your job. He should just quit. If he would rather not be there, give up a few million quid and sign somewhere else this summer. It's just about remaining professional. It's just about remaining on point. It's just about wiping your mouth and moving on. You didn't get what you want. But the way sometimes these footballers talk is like they're a minimum wage factory worker who's just been told they've got to work an extra 15 hours a week for 20% less pay. The way they moan about, I just sit there and think, waiting 6 more months to leave Manchester United earning £100,000 a week it isn't the end of the world. It just isn't the end of the world. It isn't ideal. Could Man United have run things better? Yeah, probably. But you could have left another time and chose not to. Could have pushed for a move in the summer, but he didn't really. Partly to blame himself. You get players that sign these big contracts at clubs and then moan when the club don't sell them. It's your decision. You chose to do that again and again and again and again. And as I say, if you're a Man United fan and you believe Rangnick's lying, cool. I don't really mind. But explain why. If you're backing Rangnick here, cool. Explain why. I put my reasoning out there. I think we need to make the managerial position at Manchester United strong and powerful again. But of course, the person in that role needs to be very, very respectful indeed. That's my take. It really is. Listen, everybody that has tuned in this morning, thank you. Please smash that like button before you leave. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Thanks for watching on Twitter. We're live on Twitch later on today, exclusively for the watch along. Got a great panel on, great group in the studio. So make sure you're following our Twitch account. That link is in the description below and in the live comment section. Get yourselves across now and give that a follow. Quite a few of you have followed it during this stream as well, which is great. Thank you to Nothingness Less, who signed up. I can see your name there, N102S, and then Kahia165, who signed up very recently. So thank you all very much for doing that. But until next time, my people, take care. Goodbye. God bless.